All right, welcome. We live here on Facebook Live. I'm gonna stop yelling and everybody's here when I'm up here. But what's up? This is Drew Keep L. I'm sitting here with Rob Jones on Real Talk. D.Moss is in the background getting all set today. First, before we get started, just want to mention tonight. Tonight is the town hall meeting at the Artist Cafe, right next to 365? 1365 Main Street. Make sure you come. Make sure you come early. It's going to be probably standing room only. So let's get down here. It's going to start exactly at 7 p.m. We're going to have Councilwoman Tracy Whitfield, and we're going to have Justin Hurst running for mayor, actually, as he already announced that. So make sure you come out and you support that. It's really about you, and we want to hear what you have to say. We're going to have them walk us through really what happened in the meeting on Monday. And then we want you to have your question, because I know there's a lot of homeowners in the city of Springfield, and they want to get some questions answered. And we're just going to really talk about the process, a process that, Brother Rob, that we kind of need to change, man. We need to change this real quick, man.
Yeah, that's true. The process needs to be changed. And what does that process mean? The process means we need to get rid of this current administration and put forth a new administration. So, let's get some specificity around that. Mayor Simon's got to go, and his cronies got to go, and the cronyism has to stop. What's interesting about what Brother Keaton referenced is the city council voted to increase property taxes. Now, I don't have all the details in front of me. That's gonna be fleshed out tonight at the town hall. But it was my understanding that the mayor said that he was going to lower taxes, property taxes. And in fact, he raised the property taxes. So when we talk about cronyism, the city council, there's 13 of them, and you have 8 wards, and you have 5 at large. Okay, so if you break it down, you got Ward 1, Maria Perez is on city council for the Ward 1. Ward 2, Michael Fenton. Ward 3, Melvin Edwards. Ward 4, Marlo Brown. Ward 5, LeVar Click. Ward 6, Victor Davila, I think that's how you pronounce it. Davila. Ward 7, Tim Allen. Ward 8, Zaida Govan. And then the at-large city councilors, you have Tracy Whitfield, Justin Hurst, Jesse Letterman, Sean Curran, and Kateri Walsh. I think that's how you pronounce it. So Jesse Letterman is the president of the city council right now, and then the vice president is Melvin Edwards. So let's break it down by, you have 3 Hispanic city council members, you have 5 white members. No, you got Maria Perez, Victor Davila, yep, and Zaida Govan. Right. And then you have 5 white ones and 5 black ones. Now, typically when people run, they talk about we got to have some black faces in high places. But when you look at the way this vote was struck, it's almost like everybody voted in line. And I don't know what their motivation was when it came to that vote. So it's my understanding that 3 people voted no.
And the 3 people were
Zaida Govan, Justin Hurst, and Tracy Whitfield. Now, Springfield residents, Springfield is known as the city of homes, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So that implies that there's a lot of home ownership in Springfield. This cuts across racial, religious preferences, and I'm referring to the alphabet group, social, economic, lower, upper, middle class. This cuts across all lines. One of the things that you've consistently seen over the years in any election, whether it's regional, local, national, the talk of taxes always comes up.
Right.
No, read my lips, no new taxes. And those tax brackets keep going up they keep getting shifted, and then they keep taking more money out of your paycheck. So every Springfield resident that owns a home is going to be impacted by this tax increase. What was the motivation for this tax increase? I mean, we have all this ARPA funding and some other funding flooding the cities, even though that funding is disproportionately not found its way in the Black community or the Hispanic community, but that's a whole other conversation.
Right.
But the city has funding flooded. So what is the rationale and what's the end game of increasing these property taxes? So for someone's out there sitting and say, well, I rent, I don't own a home, so that doesn't impact me. Well, guess what? It does impact you, because if I own an investment property, my taxes go up. It's a way for me to pay that increase to raise the rent. I don't want to pay more out of my pocket and cut into my profits. People,
let me chime in on that too, because you said something important. It affects everybody. The biggest issue when taxes are raised, and from our understanding, from something I read, that this is the 8th consecutive year that taxes has been raised on the city of Home. So that's unacceptable right then and there.
Wow.
But also, there's a lot of foreclosures that come out of this, because there's homes are still getting paid because things work or get equity out of their house. And then people can barely go right down to the grocery store and get things and necessities that they need. And then you raising taxes with another expense that people can't even afford. So how we vote in councilwomen, and listen, on election day, and for the last 4 or 5 years, we hear, well, we need to change the city council. We need to get more people that look like us in there, since the makeup of the Springfield minorities is 60, 70, whatever percent. Then we get people in there and they still vote for the okie dokie, which is really a slap in the face to the community when we vote in you because you said you wasn't gonna raise taxes or you wasn't going for the okie doke. You're sitting in whatever the vote is in line. And then on that part, back to what I was saying about foreclosures are happening. I see foreclosures in city happening in the record numbers, and people that we know are losing homes. And it's just ridiculous how you can even be considerate. And then this happens, look at the holiday when it happens right before one of the major holidays, whether you celebrate Christmas or not. I mean, these things happen.
A lot of these companies are laying people off right before the holidays. Layoffs happen like right before the holidays. CNN's laying a whole bunch of people off. A lot of the big banks are laying people off and cutting down. But to amplify what you're saying, right? So you talked about the financial impact. What about the elders? The elders are the people that like consistently
fixed income.
Yep, they consistently vote.
And they're homeowners.
Yep, and they're homeowners, and they got a fixed income. So what this could possibly mean to some people is an increase in your mortgage payment because they take the taxes out in escrow of $300-400+ a month.
Can I just clarify something? When people think of foreclosures, you're thinking people couldn't make mortgage payments. We're thinking banks, private loan foundation, private loan groups.
Right.
But we're talking tax title foreclosure. People need to understand tax title foreclosure. When you get to the point where you're behind on your taxes, if you get far enough behind, like any type of financial institution, the city of Springfield acts like a financial institution. They begin to send you billing statements. It's so crazy.
Can you have to give us in the bank? It's the city coming after you too.
It's the city coming to take
Wow.
your property. Over 12 years I was downtown in City Hall. I think one of the most distressing parts of the job were watching people coming in, old people, young people, Black, white, Latino, fighting, crying, begging for the city not to take their properties. And it's crazy because the minute you go on the tax title rolls, they share that information with developers, realtors. So before the house is even taken, we had one gentleman who lived on Norfolk Street. They split his property in 2 lots. And and they sold one lot. And it's crazy because I remember the gentleman coming into the office and he met with Bill Baker, who's now the communications director. And he left. I paid him no attention. Then a couple of days later, I came in and he was an old man, about 80-something years old, West Indian brother. And he was sitting on the bench just crying. And people were acting like he didn't exist. I'm walking in, I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, hey, can I help you?
Right.
Man, they're taking my house. Tax title. He said they already sold one half of his lot. So I go and I talk to Bill Baker, and Bill's like, hey, we've done everything we could possibly do for this guy. We've done everything. I follow up. I go to the treasurer's office, do due diligence, come to find out the city had done absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you this. You remember that case? I remember I called Bill.
I remember.
And we raised the funds so they could pay off. I think it was close to $22,000. And thank you to the community once again for coming together to raise funds to help this gentleman pay off his house. But he was one out of thousands upon thousands. Right. I know NES lost the property. Is it 827 State Street where the plaza, where that building is, where is now tax title. The mosque on Hancock Street was Walnut Street. They lost their in their nonprofit entity. They lost their part of their property, their parking area. They had a parking space that was donated by the former owners to them.
Does nonprofit entities deal with the city tax?
You have to be on the Attorney General's rolls, but typically with a nonprofit, especially a religious institution, the city should work with them. In that case, the city refused to. These folks were trying to get meetings with the mayor. He refused. He won't even meet with people when they're dealing with the possibility of tax title foreclosure. And if you're watching this and you think I'm alive, then I'm telling you, call me now and let me know. And it's not just saying anything disparaging about the mayor or anybody else. The fact is, when we elect someone, and you're supposed to be a people's mayor, you should meet with them. But it's kind of like they don't really meet with people. They don't tell people what your options are, 25% down, and they restart you, and you can get a payment plan. Some folks were allotted that opportunity, but a lot of folks weren't told about that. So when you talk about a tax increase, and there was an article that came out about, where's the article? Pull it up, I can find it.
So there is an option. If you're not too far behind, or if you catch it, you can go on a payment plan.
Right. So tax title says you will lose your property. There are people, we lose. So there's foreclosure, then there's tax title foreclosure. And it's crazy. I'm not going to get into the city, the other aspect of losing your property. We'll talk about receivership. We'll talk about code enforcement and how they operate on another day. But as it pertains to the taxes, headline, tax bill on the average single-family home will increase $194 in the city of Springfield. So if you're a homeowner, your tax will increase another $194. Those are some of the some of the poorer neighborhoods. Neighborhoods like mine, your taxes may go up almost $1,400. If you live in East Forest Park, you should be concerned because your taxes will go anywhere from $194 to $1,500 a year. That impacts your mortgage payment. If you still have a mortgage, most mortgages, if it operates like mine, when your taxes increase, your mortgage payment, the payment you make to the bank goes up as well for the escrow account. So if it goes up $200 and you're living on a fixed income, that impacts your financial well-being. So when we talk about quality of life, people are, I'm running because I want to enhance the quality of life for all the residents. You're disrupting the quality of life. That means now it means I don't eat because I have to make sure my taxes are paid. I don't want to lose my house. I got to make my mortgage payment. I don't want to lose my house. If it's combined, I got to make a mortgage payment and I can't do it. So now I'm 2 months behind. I'm trying to get the units up. So people need to understand homeowners in the city of Springfield will have to pay more in real estate taxes next year. The Springfield City Council voted 10-3 Monday evening to set new tax rates that will result in a $194 average increase in the tax on a single family home. So people need to understand that. So let me finish. I'm sorry. If you have a city councilor who lives in the Brightwood district if you live out in the North End and you struggling, you blue collar, you living from check to check. If you live in Mason Square, you living from check to check. Indian Orchard, check to check. Pine Point, check to check. And you hear, food prices are going up, gas prices are going up, and now your taxes are going up again for the 8th consecutive year. That's a problem. So I can't break down all the specifics, but I'm telling people, please come out to the Artist Cafe. We're renting it for the evening just so we can host our own town hall, since City Councilor Jesse Letterman did not call a meeting. He's a city council president. Consult with your residents before you make a vote. The mayor didn't do it. No one talks about taxes when they do tax increases to break down all the numbers and how it will impact everyone neighborhood by neighborhood. So it's tonight, 7 p.m. at the Artist Cafe, or you can watch online. You can watch here on my Facebook page. You can watch on the Metro Record TV page. You can go on YouTube and watch it, Metro Record TV. It will be broadcast live. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying, because I don't know all the dynamics when it comes to that. What is a logistical reason or why you would even, if it's true with the 8 consecutive years, why would you just keep raising taxes with a place called the City of Homes? Like, what is
it's really easy. I mean, they'll find TJ plan to come up with an explanation for Dominic to use in the newspaper, explaining why it happens. They keep their budget up. They keep their AA or AAA rating. They look, it looks on paper, it looks like they're doing due diligence. They're being fiscally responsible. But in the meantime, property owners are paying the cost. And that's why it's like if it goes unchecked, it's like, he sent me a letter when my great auntie died, or he sent me a letter when I got my promotion and it was in the paper, or it's like, or he posed for a picture of me, or he remembers he calls me I Adidas hat because I wear Adidas all the time. He's a great guy. But
or
it's
he
like,
shows up to my funerals or my child's games to get the proclamation. All that stuff got.
But here's the deal, though. We get caught up in personality.
Yeah,
on the surface level, on the surface level, he's a really nice guy, but we need to understand that we have to focus on the process. And we need to talk about the fiscal impact and how it impacts our quality of life. So people need to think about that. When you look at the city councilors who will support everything with 2 eyes closed because nobody wants to get on his bad side. Nobody will vote against him. So when it comes down to Justin and Tracy and those who happen to go, and it varies from time to time.
Right.
When they challenge the status quo and they challenge the proposals by Room 214, everybody else on board. I mean, all the city council is pretty much on board. And we found out from that historical commission meeting, the only way you can impact that change and force councilors to vote in the direction of their constituents is when people show up.
Right.
But in order for them to show up, it means city councilors have to get out there and you have to make an appeal to the residents. You have to talk to them. You have to educate them on what's going on. So that's the problem. Nobody wants to take the time to educate people on what's happening downtown.
So let me add to that.
Except for Tracy Whitfield. She will break it down. She'll come on everybody's radio shows, lives, and she breaks it down. Justin does that as well, but Tracy breaks down the numbers.
And that's what's going to happen tonight. She's going to break down the numbers. There's a couple things that you said that resonated with me when you talk about quality of life. And a lot of these people have run on that platform, quality of life.
Yep.
When you talked about that 194 number, which is very misleading because that may be just one small pocket or one small percentage of the impact. And then you mentioned East Springfield may see upwards of, 1,100 plus.
Yeah.
So, when you kind of extrapolate that out for 12 months and add that into your monthly payment, that is a significant impact to quality of life.
Absolutely.
And the other thing is, these people, the other thing that you said that resonated is reach out to your constituents. You reach out to your constituents when you're running for re-election. But as soon as you get in, you forget that.
That's true.
But here's the thing, though. Part of the onus is on the constituents.
Yeah.
Because here's the deal.
Oh, hold on. Can you repeat that, please? Because
part of the onus is on the constituents.
On you.
I look at an elected official, and I say it a lot on the radio. I compare elected officials to lawyers. You hire a lawyer to represent you. You vote for a politician to represent you. With a lawyer, if they don't do due diligence, the first thing you do is terminate their services,
right,
and you find a new lawyer. With elected officials, we elect them, and then we feel as if, I can't approach them. They're important people. No, they work for you,
right.
Which means you have to hold them accountable. Red, blue, green, black, or white, it doesn't matter. As you can see from the city council election, 13 city councilors, 10 voted in favor of raising your property taxes. Let me give you an example of what's going down. In my neighborhood, a couple just had a house built across the street from me. Big, beautiful 5-bedroom house. Beautiful. Oh my God, big colonial double doors. It's dope. When they when they start to assess neighborhoods, they look at the house with the highest market value. and then they leverage it out to find out what the average property is worth. So I have a 4-bedroom Riz Ranch. They have a 5-bedroom. So what do you think is going to happen to my property value?
It went up.
So if I was in a position where I wanted to sell my property, that's excellent. But I'm trying to live there. So you go, hey, my property value increased. My house is worth X amount of dollars. But it also means that looking at that new tax rate, $17.05 per $1,000, that means my taxes is going up significantly.
Right.
Is that a good thing for me? No. So people need to be aware of how this impacts you. Next year, when those tax rates hit, when that tax rate hits, that may be the difference between you making your car payment or your mortgage payment, which means you may have to make a choice. That may be your light bill, your gas bill, or worse, that may be the food you put in your mouth. A loaf of bread is damn near $5, and that down to $5 a loaf. So how do you live? So when you look at those 10 city councilors, and this ain't personal, this is business. This ain't personal.
It's about the city.
Those 10 city councilors that voted in favor of raising your taxes, everybody who lives with the board at large, you should be calling their homes right now, and you should be checking them, getting on their case. Come tonight, find out what's happening. If the city won't have a town hall, we're having it, because I'm giving surface information. When you hear City Councilor Tracy Whitfield, and I tell you, she put in a phone call, she's in tears. When you have an elected official who really feels it that much, and they're breaking down the numbers, I'm talking about how it's going to impact folks neighborhood by neighborhood. Woo, let me tell you, it's going to be a lot. So tune in for tonight, because people, I mean, we can get into the social justice stuff, but I've been saying it over and over again. We talk about social justice issues. This is a social justice issue. Some of these people who voted, Kateri doesn't have to worry about paying taxes. She's good. Mike Fitton's an attorney. He never votes blue collar. He's upper class. He's in a different, they live up in that Atwood district. These people can afford their adjustment. What about the thousands of city residents who cannot afford it?
And you know what? I'm looking at this list, and there's people on this list that I know can't afford that adjustment. So let's be clear. The property taxes in Springfield City Council almost unanimously voted in favor of the tax increase. Who voted in favor of the tax increase? Maria Perez voted yes to the tax increase. Michael Fenton voted yes to the tax increase. Melvin Edwards voted yes to the tax increase. Malo Brown voted yes to the tax increase. LeVar Click voted yes to the tax increase. Victor Davila voted yes to the tax increase. Tim Allen voted yes to the tax increase. Zaida Govan voted no.
Well,
She voted
no. Yo, give me a second.
You was on the road.
Yeah, I was on the road. Everybody was yes, but I got voted no right here.
That's right.
Zaida Govan voted no. Sean Curran voted yes for the tax increase. Justin Hurst and Tracy Whitfield voted no for the tax increase. Jesse Letterman, who's the president, voted yes to the tax increase. And Kateri Walsh voted yes to the tax increase. Some of these people haven't been on the job 5 minutes, and they're already impacting your quality of life, impacting your bottom line, impacting your ability just to contribute your own household, already out the gate. So I'm going to make a quick juxtaposition. So you've got 2 people on this list that are running for mayor. One person voted no to the tax increase. If you extrapolate that out, do you think that individual is going to be somebody who's going to be fighting for you? Think about that. Another one voted yes to the tax increase. Do you think that person is going to be...
He's going to be a continuation of what we already have.
So think about that. Listen, Daryl talked about we have to take the personality aspect out. We got to take it out. And the other thing we got to take out is we got to take out that emotion. Oh, I can't. These people in here, you're going to see. Don't take our word for it. You will see. And you're going to be moaning and bemoaning, and I want to use other words, but I can't, but you're going to be bemoaning, and you're going to be upset, but you voted these people in.
And another thing too, when you said that, right, we need to keep bringing that up people praising these people that say yes. We got to let them know this is what they did. And we can't have amnesia when it comes to certain issues that affect us. Because it affects, I mean, listen, my mother, my niece had property. My mother, 99 years old. She can't afford, I know she can't afford that. This directly affects me. All of us sitting in this room. We got relatives in this area. It affects us. So there's no logistical reason. And then my thing is, you have a 10-3 voting. That's a landslide.
Yeah.
And there's something not right with this 10 number. I would have been, if it was like a 7-5, even still, I wouldn't have been happy with that. But a 10-3, there's issues that we have to just uncover, and we just have to expose all of this, because I can't shake hands and laugh and smile with people when you're going and you're not looking out for the city.
And you know, the other thing too, based on what you said, Keaton, is like some of these wards are in some of the most economically depressed places in the city.
No, in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. In the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and you know this because you live in that ward. You live in that ward, so you know this. And like Darryl said, you know, some wards may be fine, but we're not in households.
Well,
I don't know who's making what and who's doing what, who's budgeting. I don't know. Somebody can look like, oh, they're flossing on the outside, but have $3 in their bank account.
The city council has also approved the recommendation during this meeting. They approved the recommendation from Sarno to offset the tax levy with $10 million from the city's free cash account. Using that much free cash, Mike Fenton says, using that much free cash to reduce taxes is unprecedented for Springfield. He says, I do think that $10 million is inappropriate, and I would characterize it as an aggressive figure. City Councilor Tracy Whitfield, who chairs the Finance Committee, urged Sarno to put more of the city's $67 million free cash stockpile towards tax relief.
Yeah, can I interrupt you?
Let me finish. She said it is a shame we would not do more for the residents of our city of Springfield, especially our seniors and those on low fixed incomes. Administration officials warned that using more free cash to offset the tax levy could result in homeowners seeing tax bills balloon in subsequent years. They also cautioned against shifting, listen to this part, they also cautioned against shifting more of the property tax burden from the residential to the business side. The rates recommended by Sarno and ultimately adopted by the council were heavily endorsed by Springfield Regional Chamber President Diana Cisno. She says further shift of the tax burden onto businesses would be irresponsible and short-sighted. So let's be really clear. The majority of the businesses that benefit from their tax relief, a lot of these owners don't even live in the city of Springfield.
Wow. Yeah.
So they're getting passes while city residents pay the cost.
Here's the thing that you said. I heard everything you read. The thing that slapped me in the gums was the word stockpile. Stockpile is another way of saying surplus.
Mm-hmm.
So Keaton mentioned that the city has consecutively raised property taxes 8 consecutive years. And you've got a surplus and you're still raising property taxes. That doesn't make any sense to me. Come tonight to the town hall at the Artists Collective. Artists Cafe. Don't look at me like that, boy. To get some specificity around the numbers and also what's behind this. Like why? And Keaton said, you know, I don't care if so-and-so comes to my business and buys a sandwich or came to my uncle's funeral. Because, yeah, that shows goodwill, but does it show goodwill? They did that, but then your mortgage payment has went from $2,000 to $2,500. So don't come to my store and buy a sub or come to my uncle's funeral. Do something about these property taxes.
Well, here's what Sarno said, that he's going to direct more money into a program administered by the housing agency Wayfinders to help people pay rent and utility bills. I'm gonna go up on your taxes, but I'm gonna give them money so they can help you pay some of your bills.
Yeah, but the relief, okay, so on that's good.
No, that's
That's
not good.
good. No,
That's not good.
Listen. Let me finish. Let me
Listen.
That's good for temporary relief. But
Right.
what happens over a long period of time when your 3 months or your 4 months of funding from the Wayfinders go out and you still in this dilemma where you still got to make up those $200 or $300 extra dollars. And then, so basically all that is telling you from getting evicted within a year to getting evicted in a year and a half or 2 years, or getting a notice. That's basically what it's doing. You're putting a Band-Aid on something, a solution where all you have to do is just find another way where you can lower the taxes. That's what you're supposed to do.
But you got a point, but let's keep our eye on the bigger picture. City of homes, the renters, yeah.
Right.
But how is that going to help the homeowners? Because at the end of the day, if that's the Band-Aid,
right?
Yeah, they're not getting any support. And if that's a Band-Aid, the person who owns that property, which most likely probably doesn't even live in the city, but that's a whole other conversation, is going to raise the rent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that support may be insufficient.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get past the word.
And stop my eye.
Stop it.
You know, y'all just I was fighting for the homeowners when I was fighting for the renters just now, and I didn't really listen what y'all just said. Now I see what you're saying, because it's the renters. So basically, the people that don't own the property, that don't live here anyway, is still benefiting.
It's still benefiting.
Why the renter is gonna be out anyway, and instead of 3 months, they're gonna be out in 6 months.
Right.
And they've been okay.
Yeah.
So I regret, but still, it's still a Band-Aid, whether it's still a Band-Aid.
Yeah. So it's we get caught up in the terminology,
Right.
and we can't get caught up in terminology, and that's the challenging part, because these guys are showing us.
Mm-hmm.
These people are showing us. Listen, I don't care what you say.
Yeah, 2 potential mayoral candidates in that list, outside of Justin Hurst. I keep hearing word that Jesse Letterman is prepping for the possible announcement that he's running for mayor. Mike Fenton has been considering running for mayor for quite some time. Look at Maria Perez. Maria Perez is the same person who heavily advocated and pushed for the video surveillance
And
police, full unvetted access for the police to access the surveillance system within the schools. We have Melvin Edwards, interesting character. I like him personally, but professionally, it's kind of he's the same dude who says, "I'm not a black elected official. I'm an elected official who just happens to be black." And he's never. It's kind of like you have to question where he's at. And this is not a black issue. Let me be really clear. But when someone tells you who you are, you have to take them at their word.
Yeah.
And let me also be clear, because I'm on the show with them and I'm sharing my views, this is not being anti-Dominic or anti-administration because of what took place in me. We throw it out there. This is business. I'm a homeowner. I'm a business owner in this city. So everything that happens is going to impact me fiscally. I have a family to feed. When I think of the other 154,000 residents in this city, if we don't fight for them, if people don't advocate and don't speak up for them, then people will be getting hit and have no idea where the shots are coming from. And we'll have a mayor who will continuously smile for people, knowing that he's pulling food out of their mouths. We have city councilors. We have one, Jesse Letterman gets invited to all the family cookouts. For all the people who continuously invite him to the family cookouts, please understand that by the time these tax rates continue to increase, you won't have a cookout in your backyard. You're not going to. He's still going to have his, and he's still going to have his home. So people need to be aware. So we're at that 30-minute part, Mark. Closing thoughts?
No, I just want to say, listen, make sure you show up tonight, even if you kids a link where you can watch it online. So, I mean, we should have a great turnout. And when you see your officials, if not showing up in neighborhood council meetings, they are not in these two. It's not just this, we know in the future there's other issues that come down. Instead of just sitting back and going with the votes and saying, okay, on to ask them why. And see, because like you said, I mean, we have an important race coming up, and it's not just the mayor's race, it's the city council positions, at-large wards. Some of these people really need to be removed from office if they're not for the people. And don't take it personal, because I like every single one of you, but it's business. I'm from the city of Springfield myself.
I don't like every one of them. Keep it 100.
Well, I mean, I'm going to say.
Because of how they vote.
Yeah.
And also I want to say, I'm with you 100% on your closing when you said that. All power, the Panthers, you said all power lies in the hands of the people. So it's not like these people can make these decisions without you impacting the direction that they go in. You don't have to wait for a neighborhood council meeting. You can gather 20, 30 of your fellow neighbors, and you invite these elected officials in. They knock on your door during campaign season. People need to separate. Let me back up. separate the electoral process from the political process itself. The electoral process is when everybody smiles and tells you what they think you want to hear. Political process, that's the part, that's on constituents. That's on us to create meetings and forums to invite these elected officials in and hold them accountable. Beginning in January, in the Metro Record, we're going to have a column with a report card in all of the city councils, all of our legislative body, and even Congressman Neal, Ed Markey, Elizabeth Warren. These are all the people who impact our quality of life. These people are all making decisions, whether they're downtown at City Hall, up in Boston, or down in DC. And we need to know what they're doing, and we need to have a thorough understanding of what they're, how every decision they make impacts us. Because I don't know when the last time was I've seen when was the last town hall meeting we've been to with the mayor where he actually broke down some of the things that he's doing, shared his vision for the city.
I don't even remember.
So
I'm not saying it never happened. I just don't even remember.
So that's my closing thought. So Rob?
Yeah, so take a piece of both of y'all's closing thoughts. You look at a big corporation or any kind of corporation, they have a mission statement, and a vision statement. I don't know what that is for the city. Outside of Zaida, Justin, and Tracy, all these cats, and I'm using some old school slang terms, need to be voted out. Now somebody will be like, oh, well, they vote on a lot of different things. Yes, they do, and some things have more impact than others. This has significant, life-changing impact. Darryl mentioned something earlier, taking ownership. If you let these people stay in office and they continue doing what they're doing, that's on you. That's directly on you. Because you voted them in, A, and you kept them in by continuing to vote for them, B. So you need to make a decision.
Here we go. All right, folks, this is Real Talk. For those who are looking for the Respect for Life show, Springfield Technical Community College made the decision to terminate the remote boxes, and you have to go into the studio in order to continue the show. So on 90.7, this would be the Respect for Life show, but this is a free-flowing dialogue organized specifically for the community. And we're just getting down with that real talk, and we hope everybody can feel it. Hope y'all can dig it. We'll see you next week.
Tonight. We'll see you tonight. We'll see you sooner than later. So
tonight. So online, virtually, participate, ask your questions and comments. You can come in person, ask your questions and comments. If there's any other city councilors that feel they want to show up, that's fine. But please understand you will not have access to the mic. This is a community-controlled forum. So do not attempt to exact your privilege on the process.
And for those homeowners, right quick, pull out your mortgage statement and see what you're paying in taxes, because it's broken out.
Yeah, it sure is.
It's broken out. And then expect an increase there. And for your renters who know what you pay monthly, expect an increase there as well.
You know what? I know we close it off. I looked at mine before. Do you know that my tax payment is almost as large as my mortgage payment?
That's crazy.
Wow. With that being said, we'll see you tonight, 7 p.m. The Artist Cafe. We're on Facebook. We'll be broadcasting it live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Go to facebook.com/D.Moss. And we'll be posting there. You can go to YouTube, Metro Record TV, become a subscriber, tell your friends, become a subscriber, and you can watch it live there. Much love, much peace. We'll see you tonight.